Hello, this is Thomas Dodds. We're doing a series on combating inflation, and today we'll look at focusing your market to increase the value you provide. One of the problems in inflation is that everything's changing fast. The costs to provide services, the inflation on people's salaries, everything's changing in the environment. But the good news is that there's opportunity as well. And of course, our goal is to increase meaningful momentum in an inflationary cycle. So one of the principles we've been operating on to solve this is to do our work with excellence so that we stand before kings and not obscure men. That's the biblical principle we're looking at in this case. So how do we do that? I was working with an energy management client to try and increase and respond to their situation, to increase their momentum. And so we used something that I call the momentum law of multipliers. And I define that as identifying and improving a small set of variables in your business model that will have a disproportionate effect on profit to fuel benefit for people and make purposeful impact. So how do we identify and improve the right areas? We looked at this, and the client understood that they had higher margins of 50% for certain offerings with certain customers. So we focused the market on one industry where they had faster sales time, better ability to provide and realize on the promise of lower total cost of ownership. And so we identified that, and then we went about improving it to sell more to that industry and deliver on the promise faster while generating profitability. So let's apply that to our hypothetical model of a $10 million company in an inflationary cycle. If we look at that here, we can see that if we don't do anything for inflation, we lose the ability to generate profits and not able to be generous or invest in growth or make the impact that we want. So we want to do something in response to the change and get ahead of the change. So what happens here when we focus on one particular industry and can sell? So first of all, we're going to sell more high volume, high margin services to customers. We're not going to increase pricing. This is important here in that we want to isolate for the variable when we're evaluating scenarios in the business. And so we've already looked at cost cutting. We've already looked at raising prices across the board. What if we just sold more of our higher value services? So if we can sell 30% more, that gets us to 13 million instead of 10. We have a proportional increase, not at the margins we were at of 30%, but at 50% margin for these services increasing. And so that ends up improving our gross margin and our net margin, even though we have inflation in here. So we've improved over 10% EBITDA in the past, and we're now at 12%. So we can see that selling more high-value services to a focused market is going to get us accelerated profits and continue our meaningful momentum, where purpose impact actually can grow because we can invest more back into the business and our growth. And this is in stark contrast. It's more impact than cost cutting isolated in an inflationary cycle, and more impact than raising prices across the board. So in our cost cutting example, we yielded a 3% EBITDA in that scenario, and in increasing prices across the board, we were able to maintain a 10% EBITDA. But in this scenario, by exploiting a multiplier of focusing on the market and looking at the products and services that we can deliver a higher margin, we're able to preserve value in the business and focus the resources for greater meaningful momentum. I've done this for small companies, fewer than $1 million and $80 million companies plus. It can work for you as well. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and subscribe if you got value out of this, and go make meaningful momentum.